I'm Gwen Callahan, the co-director of Portland Horror Film Festival, and I'm joined on stage with filmmakers Faith Liu from Sundowning, and Amy Hesketh from Glampire. And can you hear me if I just shout like this?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to hand you that. I will try to keep my volume up so that you can hear me. Both of you guys have amazing, like the production value of your films is incredible. They're two very different vibes, which I love, and they're both kind of about monsters in some ways. Faith, your film could be seen as kind of a story about an older man who has, in his old age, and as he is in his sundowning period, is being kind of haunted by memories of his past. What was the inspiration for telling this type of story?
So for the last 4 years, I've been living with and helping to take care of my grandmother. She does not have Alzheimer's. She is, however, extremely adamant about not wanting to go into a nursing home, which I think we can all understand. But I think over the course of living with her over the last couple of years, I've really gotten to understand a deeper reason as to why, which is in part not just because nursing homes in America are terrible places to be half the time, but also because I've been with her to doctor's visits, to the bank, to the grocery store, and I see how people have a tendency to just pass over her and then talk to me instead. They kind of make a bunch of assumptions about what she will or will not understand. They make a bunch of assumptions about what she really wants or what she actually needs. And so just kind of seeing the way that society has kind of made her invisible or has found ways to twist her meaning really inspired me to try to find a way to tell her perspective in a way that we as younger people would understand. That's a very unique type of, it's almost like a Nightmare on Elm Street type of horror, where you're screaming, you're trying to tell someone something's wrong, and nobody believes you because of your age. So I wanted to find a way to make that really real for us and help us understand what our parents, our grandparents are going through, but in a way that was going to be fun and exciting, and that would drive it home for us in a way that's much better than just like your grandma lecturing you.
So I really loved the character of his friend who's kind of the suspicious, kind of poking around, and she sees at the end the grate. To me, this signaled that there was actually a real monster roaming around the nursing home. Is that your intent? Or is it just open to us?
Yes, that's very much the intent. We wanted very much to make a proof of concept for a feature, but we wanted to be able to close it off in a way that felt satisfying for you to watch in 15 minutes. But this is a proof of concept for a larger feature centered around that character, Shulan, and a couple of her elderly friend, and then that night nurse that you met, that young guy, as they try to uncover what's really going on in the nursing home. So it would be a horror mystery that I'm currently working on.
Amy, your film is dealing with younger people, but with an older character. Can you, what was the genesis of this particular film and the style of filming?
So it was based on a comic book by Jordan Lucas and Linda Benedetti. They wrote the screenplay for the film and submitted it to a contest. It won the contest, and then I was hired to direct it. And I really connected with it. I think that the underlying theme of this disconnect between youth and elders is really prevalent in there, as well as social media also being a vampire, and just the lack of agency that everybody has in that mix.
I love the way you balance the horror and the comedy, and I assume that is baked into the script and the graphic novel.
Definitely. It was really satisfying to hear a lot of laughs in the audience.
The special effects makeup was really great. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So it was led by Steve Johnson. He's a great special effects artist from Los Angeles. He's done the creatures from the abyss. He did Predator, Cat in the Hat, a lot of different stuff. And he's friends with my producer and I, so he came up to Port Townsend to do that. And Real Fiction helped us. They're a company in Vancouver, Washington, right across the bridge. And they did a lot of, the nails and then some of the other makeup and things like that, yeah.
can you tell us a little bit about the location? Because has anybody been to Port Townsend? You guys been? Just a couple
We
people?
stayed in that building
Oh, wow.
When?
last year.
Last year?
The outside one, right?
The Hastings building, it's like been condemned for a while. I mean,
No,
that was
okay,
brave.
It wasn't that building, but
Like maybe next door to it, because
yeah,
there's like
it
the
had that
Belmont or
same,
something.
like,
Yeah.
round outside.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, there's another one that is like a block.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
Port
we
Townsend
stayed in that
looks
one.
like all the buildings look like that. So it's
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, the location was a Hastings building in Port Townsend. And I mean, lucky for us, it was, it's been in litigation for 15 years, and so it's been completely just derelict, run down. They can't do anything to it. I'm hoping that it ruled in their favor because it did that like right after we got out of there. But yeah, I mean, our production insurance covered it. I don't think they knew quite how bad it was inside when we went in there. It was really great. Yeah, we got permission. We went in there. You know, there wasn't a lot of set deck that we had to do. I think we did maybe 2 days of set deck, and the rest was just the awesome old building, you know, and that dust is like, a lot of it is not a hazer. So, though we did need that for backup dust.
Faith, in your film as well, there are some visual effects. Can you talk about those a little bit?
I got really, really lucky. My cinematographer, Brian Tang, is also one of the best VFX artists I know. He and I have known each other since middle school. Like we grew up making like dumb YouTube stuff together. Do not look it up. So he very generously offered to come onto this project, and so when I said, hey, I'd kind of love to really lean into the monster part, that this isn't just Alzheimer's, like, and the thing is, Alzheimer's doesn't stay as like, oh, just your old memories coming back to haunt you. It like puts snakes all over the floor. It puts stuff, it makes weird things happen in your mind, so I wanted to really lean into that. So I asked him like, hey, what can we do? I have an obsession with cuttlefish. What can we do to make this as close to cuttlefish as we can? So we messed around with some models, we messed around a lot with textures. There was a horrible version where every tentacle looked like a dick, and we had to fix that. And we wound up with this.
Excellent. Do you have footage? Do you have a copy of the
Dick version. Now, does the butthole cut of cats exist?
And where might we find this version?
The dick version? Hopefully nowhere. We're trying not to get blacklisted.
Okay,
I want my
okay.
mom to see this.
Sorry. I just have, every time we talk about like things from the sea and tentacles and stuff, it always comes back around to genitalia.
Oh yeah.
It's delightful. It's delightful. Does anyone in the audience have any questions for either one of these? No, I see a hand up already in the middle.
Congratulations to both of you. They're both excellent movies, and especially really excellent visual movies. So I'd love to hear about some of the cinematographic choices you made in collaboration with your director, photographer, costume stuff. Yeah.
My DP is one of my former students. He lives in LA, Micah Fusco, and so Micah and I have a really similar sense of kind of like framing and humor and that kind of thing, and so it was really good. He really gets the tone, and so yeah, and then he selected his gaffer and first AC, and it was great, and also Jordan Lucas is a storyboard artist, and so we had him storyboard a lot of that with us, so that was great.
That's so incredible.
Oh yeah, those are, the shadow puppets are.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Tell us about the shadow puppets, because that was one of my favorite parts of the film as well.
Oh, yeah, so that was shot on a different day, and that was like a lot. Figuring out how to do live action shadow puppets is fucking hard, people. And so Aaron Drain, my producer, actually played the shadow puppet vampire, yeah, it was really fun. We worked with Scott Kervin, and he does like a lot of VFX, special effects, things like that. And it was just so much fun, playing around and trying to figure out like, okay, if we press this like air compressor now and then have the confetti, like fly out of here, it's gonna look like blood, and these like ribbons and all of these things like to represent that. So yeah, everybody was super excited about the puppet show more than anything. It's weird.
It's like play. It's like
Oh,
play for
yeah, and this whole movie was like play. I mean, this is why I make movies, because it's like adults playing, you know, so.
Any other questions for either of these filmmakers? Go ahead.
For you. For Faith, there are a lot of the pea shooter thing felt like a difficult thing to achieve, and then also the set dressing as soon as the big kind of fall off the bed moment hits. Those seem like ambitious undertakings for a short piece. Can you speak to that of trials, tribulations, or maybe how it fits into your feature concept, or yeah?
Yeah, the peas thing I'm very proud of, but thankfully, when he is actually shooting them, most of those are digital peas that are flying out of his pea shooter. We don't trust him to actually aim and correctly hit. It was hard, we tried. We had a little fun 5 moments of trying. We had real peas, we had Play-Doh peas, we had plastic peas, and then I think we had 1 dried peas. All 4 of them got used at different points, and I think Shu Hua, our actress who played that lady, ate some. She was hungry. The set dressing for the forest, a lot of that I think came from my production designer's backyard, and maybe several other people's yards. We're not totally sure. There was a moment where somewhere in the chaos of that particular set, we did everything in 3 days, and one of them was in an actual working nursing home, which was very stressful. That was not one of the days. There was a point at which somebody misheard something and started just bringing in tree branches. And I left the room for 2 seconds to go over an ADR thing. I came back in, and suddenly the room was full of tree branches. And I was like, wait, we're not doing that yet. So we had to move all the tree branches back out and sweep it and then move them back in later. But I thought they came out really beautifully. So I know it was a lot of work for my crew, but I think that the end result really, really paid off.
Any other questions? Okay, yes.
For both directors, what did you learn on this project that you're taking to your next thing, whatever that might be?
No, you take this one.
I just talked. What did I learn here that I'm taking to the next one? I think one thing that this was my first film as a director, so there were a lot of things that I was trying very hard to control tone, because this film has to hit a pretty specific tone of being able to pull the heartstrings a little bit, but also be scary, but also be funny. And I think in future I would love to let my actors play more. The Lavelle, who's the wonderful older lady flirting with the nurse, when she initially started, I told her to just kind of ad-lib the flirting, and she came up with the grossest, so nasty. I was shocked a little bit. She came up with just some nasty shit. And I kept telling her to tone it down because I was getting embarrassed. And in hindsight, I wish I hadn't. I wish I had actually just let her go all out and pushed her to go even further, and then we could have pulled from that, because I think she had the right instinct. A lot of our older actors, they immediately have the right instinct. It was crazy. The least amount of direction I've ever had to give is with them. Younger actors, way more direction. Older actors just know. It's really cool.
I guess for me, so this was the first film that I did an entire test shoot for, so we shot the shit out of it in a day, and strung it together with Tanaya and a stand-in, Aaron, also who played the Shadow Puppet Vampire, and his TikTok dance is really funny in the test shoot. But I had never had the luxury of doing that before, and I think it was incredibly helpful. We were able to eliminate a lot of shots that weren't necessary or that weren't going to cut together. And so, this shoot was really complicated because of the special effects, and the special effects changes every day, and sometimes mid-day. And so, there was just a lot of time. Steve was like, I need more time. You need to give me more time now. And so, to have that kind of be able to keep up that pace because of that test shoot, that was invaluable. I would love to do that on a feature. I've never been able to do it on one of my features. But I would highly recommend if you can ever do that. It was just amazing.
I'm going to wrap up, but people want to know probably where they can find you online and see more of your work or learn more about your other projects and see what you're doing next. Can you share, Faith, where can people find you online to follow you and like follow along with your filmmaking?
Yeah. I'm trying really hard not to be on Instagram, but I'm at Faith Liu. The film Instagram, I think, is just Sundowning Film. You can find us there. We barely ever post, but we post.
So you can look me up at the OC Film School. I'm the chair of the department. I don't really have much of a social media presence, but my IMDb gets updated sometimes. I'm around. You can like call me.
On the phone, like a person.
I have her phone number, I think, so. I'm just kidding.
We'll put it on screen later.
Probably not use her phone number.
For whatever.
I just want to thank both of you for joining us and traveling from your home base, and being with us for the weekend and letting us play your movie for our audience and just being amazing filmmakers. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.